Society is a sinking ship. It always has been, it always will be. No matter when you're born, what time period you're in, society is going to be not great because society wants you to conform. Society is conformity. They're like synonyms for each other. For the last few years, I have been actively seeking wisdom, and I've been reading a lot of books. I've been exploring what it takes to live a good life and to be successful and to just be happy. And I've noticed a pattern. Some of the greats, people who've written the best books of the last couple hundred years, always quote Ralph Waldo Emerson. In particular, they quote his essay, Self-Reliance. And not only do they quote it, but they all revere him. They respect this guy so much. So I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I got to check out this essay and see what it's all about. Whoa, it blew my mind. In this essay, he validates a hunch, an inner knowing, an intuition that I've had about reality in general for a long time. And he could have written it right now, but he wrote it in 1841. He basically says that government is corrupt, always. Society sucks, always. The institutions that structure our society are meant to keep you from thinking for yourself, always. This gives context to what feels like an eternal struggle. We're always dealing with people who follow all the rules, and those of us who see the rules as not being conducive or complementary to the way we want to live our lives, and there's this battle that's always occurring. Society never advances. It recedes as fast on one side as it gains on the other. The governing forces of society obviously want you to conform. They want you to obey. They don't want you thinking for yourself. So therefore, your best bet, your only real option, is to walk away from the herd and live life on your own terms. Now, when I say that, I don't mean you retreat from society and you quietly sit back and judge everybody else for not doing what you're doing. No, you still participate in society, but you do it your own way with your own thoughts and your own actions. You can't fix society. You can't fix all of society, but you can fix yourself. And that is what this essay is all about. And this is probably arguably the most famous passage from it. If you've ever had any exposure to self-reliance without reading it, you've probably heard at least an aspect of this passage. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, that he must take himself for better for worse as his portion, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him, but through his toil bestowed on that plot of ground which is given to him to till. The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried. We're all given this plot of ground, our life, to till. We have immense power within us. We have limitless creative ability and potential, yet most people's dreams are left on the cutting room floor. Great works are never written. Masterpieces are buried in the ground alongside the person who failed to produce them. We but half express ourselves and are ashamed of that divine idea which each of us represents. And that's just in the realm of art and creative expression. One idea, one thought, acted upon, can ripple through time and change the course of history. Your mind, my mind, are capable of such thoughts, and deep down you know it. I'd argue that this is the seed behind most people's overall discontentment in life, their unhappiness, because a half-expressed life yields depression, anxiety, bitterness, resentments. All too often, a person dwells on their past to solve the riddle of their present. Why am I unhappy? Why am I so unlucky? Why don't good things happen to me? The solution is to look forward, not backward. Focus on who you are becoming and where you're going and what you're trying to bring into your life, what you're trying to achieve and accomplish. The man must be so much that he must make all circumstances indifferent, put all means into the shade. This all great men are and do. Accepting full responsibility of your life, of every single aspect of your life, is the first step to wisdom. If you can learn how to harness your thoughts, if you can learn how to control your own mind, success as you define it will be yours for the taking. Failure is reserved only for those who quit. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of our own mind. Everyone has a unique set of skills, talents, perspective, life experience that can be synthesized into something incredible or several somethings. And that is exactly why you are meant to conform and obey, and also the reason why you are criticized, demonized, and even ostracized when you don't. Society may not be fixable, but you can influence its members. We are now men, and not minors and invalids in a protected corner, but guides, redeemers, and benefactors obeying the almighty effort and advancing on chaos and the dark. Okay, so this is the age-old battle. Good versus evil, light versus dark. Every person ever has participated in and grappled with this in their life, whether unconsciously or not. Your life and your existence serves to tip the scale in one direction or the other. If you give up on yourself, if you give up on humanity, on society at large, you are tipping the scale towards darkness. The governing forces of society don't want you walking away from the herd because they're running a tight ship. And when you're thinking for yourself and you're taking actions that are independent to you, you now threaten that very establishment because of the influence you can have. For nonconformity, the world whips you with its displeasure. A lot of people think they're nonconformists when they're not because they think differently than the masses and then society. They think they're different. You have to match your actions to your thoughts if you're going to actually be a non-conforming individual and be self-reliant. I've noticed that a lot of people are very angry when they're non-conformist thinkers, and I think it's because they know deep down that they're not actually living the life they could be because they're still conforming. They go to a job they don't like, they surround themselves with people they don't have anything in common with, and they get bitter. They get angry, and they see people who actually are nonconformists and succeeding, and they think, well, they must have cheated in some way. And not only that, they project onto that person what they should be doing with that influence, with that status that they've achieved. Probably even right now. Someone's watching this video thinking, Benny, you are supposed to be exposing crimes. We're on the same team here. You know better. You know that there's all this bad stuff that needs to be talked about, and you have a platform and you're not talking about it. Well, Emerson has something to say about that too. What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think. You will always find those who think they know what is your duty better than you know it. I've worked with a lot of people the last few years, hundreds of people, and the common denominator, the common problem amongst all of them is a lack of purpose. They all want it. They know they're capable of it, but they're unsure as to what it is or how to find it. But that's the problem. They're thinking too much. They're wondering what it is. You're not going to figure out your purpose by sitting there thinking about it. You have to take action. Action is the key. Your genuine action will explain your other genuine actions. Your conformity explains nothing. To find your purpose, you must live purposefully. It's like what Emerson said, you don't know what you can do until you have tried. If you're not trying anything, you're not going to figure anything out. If you're not feeling passionate about something, it's because you haven't done it yet. My purpose right now, outside of being the best father and husband I can be, is to help people walk away from the herd and become self-reliant in their way. But I didn't arrive here just by thinking about it. It's through a long process of committed behavior. I started off with the intention, I want to relieve people of their suffering. I committed to that when I was 28 years old, and I started off by doing comedy videos, and I started writing poetry, and I started performing at conferences and events and emceeing, and I did a meme show, and I started working with people on their communication, and now I'm here because I've identified the bigger underlying problem, which is lack of purpose, and that's given me purpose. But I didn't arrive here by wondering, thinking, navel-gazing. I arrived here by action, and maybe my purpose will shift down the line, but I'm living with purpose. And here I am. And this next part of the essay is my favorite part because yes, society is a sinking ship. Yes, society at large cannot be fixed. And yes, the government exists and it's always immoral, but trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Accept the place the divine providence has found for you, the society of your contemporaries, the connection of events. Great men have always done so and confided themselves childlike the genius of their age. Don't you see? It's all here for you. It's all an opportunity for you. The immoral government, the lack of critical thinking from society, all of it is an opportunity for you to learn, to grow, to help, to contribute. You have a role in this story if you choose to accept it. The second step to wisdom is to stop complaining and start solving problems. Yours first. And when you solve a problem for yourself, you are now qualified to solve that same problem for someone else. It's a pretty easy recipe for success. My life is not an apology, but a life. My life should be unique. It should be an alms, a battle, a conquest, a medicine. I could probably make a whole video series about this essay, and maybe I will. But for now, for this video, I'll leave you with one more passage. Society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. Society is a joint stock company in which the members agree for the better securing of his bread to each shareholder to surrender the liberty and culture of the eater. The virtue in most request is conformity. Self-reliance is its aversion. This is why I originally intended this program, my program, The Self-Reliant Way, for men. Because men are the official scapegoats of society. They are now, and they were back then. Maybe they always are. Men are blamed for everything. And right now in society, masculinity is considered toxic. Boys being boys is bad. The patriarchy is blamed for pretty much every injustice and inequality we see in the world. A man is celebrated when he castrates himself. Society cuts men off at the knees. And to me, the reason is obvious. The self-reliant man, the man who thinks for himself, is a threat to the established order. Fear, in one form or another, keeps men and people in general in their place in society. But remember this brilliant quote that you probably heard by Emerson before: to be great is to be misunderstood. Stop being mediocre. Stop living an ordinary life. Stop living the life that someone else predetermined for you. You know better. You know that there's problems to solve in the world. You know that you can have a hand in helping people. You know not to believe everything that the masses believe. So start acting like it. If you want some help getting out of a rut or just getting excited about life again, consider signing up for my program, The Self-Reliant Way. This is what I do for people, and I'd love to help you. If it's your first time watching me, well, first of all, thank you for getting all the way to this point. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment and say hello. Make sure you tune in for more content like this. All right, see you next time.